Hi guys, welcome to Toy Chat. This is Max.
Autumn.
Saying.
And today we are reviewing the latest San Diego Comic-Con exclusive Ever After High doll, Marionette Cedar Wood. So, of course, first things first, we're going to get started with the packaging. So where is she?
That's saying's cute.
Okay, so Cedar comes in a neat little outer box. It is a
Curtain.
a spotlight that shows Ever After High logo on one side, and the other side it actually shows Cedar's hand pointing out.
I feel like this box takes up the largest amount of space of any of the Ever After High exclusive boxes.
Really?
Hers is shorter, and hers is really narrow. Really
yeah, but that
narrow.
one's, well, Sharice is wider though.
Is it?
Yeah. Just by a tad.
Yeah. Yeah, the Cedar box is taller, but... So as with the other Comic-Con exclusives and Ever After High, there's an exterior box, and then you open it.
And you take her out, and she comes in, oh my gosh, another box.
Whoa!
Yes. Yeah. And this is really, I think, the bread and butter of the packaging. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely just display her as like this. Like, I know
It's
there's...
a beautiful display piece.
Yeah, yeah, like you wouldn't even need to take her out of the box. This is just fine as is.
Yeah, and it's very cool. It's very it's very Pinocchio. It has, you know, a bunch of awesome woodwork, clockwork designs, and in the front, of course, it's, you know, the curtains where on stage where I always want to say Pleasure Island, but the problem is I'm not sure if it was actually called that in the original Pinocchio fairy tale, or if it was only called that in the Disney adaptation. But yeah, the island, Pinocchio, yeah, the island of children Pinocchio was sent to. They're going with that theme very much with this release. So yeah, the packaging is really cool. On the back is fairly simple. It has some nice, you know, new artwork of Cedar, and there's a little story about, actually it talks about a bunch of the Ever After High girls getting turned into puppets. So, you know, I know they eventually incorporated Evil Queen Raven into the show.
They never did Sharice, so I'm curious if they're gonna do Cedar. But that'd be interesting. So if you want, we'll have a little caption with the story on the back so you can read it. Also at the very bottom, they have the credits for all the people who worked on this, who worked on this doll. So
I like that they do that. It's a nice extra shout out for the artists and designers who put these together.
So the front of the box, one of my favorite things on here is they have a little Jiminy Cricket right there.
Aww.
I just noticed that.
It's very cute. Daughter of Pinocchio.
Yeah, this is maybe, I really love Cerise's Comic-Con display case, but in the case of Cedar, this might actually be my favorite display case for the Comic-Con releases because...
well, Sharice, you have to open up the book. So you can't, she takes up a lot of space if you have like the book open.
Yeah. Yeah, but this one I think it's really cool. It's very fitting, like just right as is. It looks like she's like on stage and you can take pictures of her right there.
I felt Raven's box was very cheap. It was just a chunk of plastic. But
yes.
I guess that's as close as they can get with like a mirror. Yeah. But
yeah, I like that they brought back the more detailed packaging from Cerise.
At the very top of the box is kind of a little opening that has one of the sticks.
This is the best part.
The sticks that you can actually move the doll up and down. But we'll get into more detail about that in a little bit. Just going over packaging.
So of course, to completely reiterate for those who aren't familiar, these are literally, yeah, San Diego Comic-Con exclusives. So they are only formally sold by Mattel, the first party seller, at the Comic-Con event. So if you aren't able to attend, you know, if you weren't able to attend that event, the only way really to purchase these dolls is eBay, third-party sellers.
Yeah.
Maddie Collector, the website, we can link them in the description.
They're no longer available. They were only available during the con, so unfortunately you're stuck with eBay, or if your friend went there, or Tooth Toys I think still has some of them. So at the moment Maddie Collector is completely sold out, and they were saying they only sold it during the con. Alright, let's open her up. So there's the sleeve that you can peel off. So very easy to remove.
Oh, even more artwork.
Yeah, and this is my favorite part right here. In the exterior of the box there are a poster of 3 Ever After High characters you should be familiar with. Raven, Apple, and Maddie. Yeah, and on one side, now showing in San Diego Comic-Con, Hall H, I guess assuming that's the hall where Mattel was at. And then on the left side, they have them.
What a morbid artwork! Yeah. I love
it. they're cursed. Mm-hmm. They're all puppets.
Yeah.
And they're all like
slumped over,
defeated.
Mm-hmm. It's creepy.
Yeah.
They're just like in the raft or on a shelf.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then they had the bottom little trunk. I really like the trunk.
All the possessions they got from their cursed girls.
Apples and teacups.
Crazy.
And there's a glass slipper. I wonder if Ashlyn's supposed to be part of this.
It's appropriate.
The mirror?
Oh, Raven.
Raven, yeah.
It's appropriate because the original Pinocchio fairy tale was, that aspect of it was very dark.
Yeah. So I really appreciate all the motifs they use.
Yeah, I really appreciate that about Ever After High in general, when they really incorporate like the a lot of aspects of like the original, Brothers Grimm adaptations of the fairy tales. It's very cool.
We're gonna jump into the finer details of the doll, so we're gonna cut away, and we'll meet back here for the final thoughts.
Okay, and here is a Comic-Con exclusive Cedar out of box. So, she is wearing an adorable little golden hat on the side of her head. Now, it's actually kind of difficult to tell from afar, but what's really cool is the design on it is ocean waves with the whale from the Pinocchio fairy tale on the hat. I thought that was a very cool, cute little touch. Yeah, and the hat is in a black headband. You can see a little bit of that. So Cedar has a mixture of lavender and kind of like a dark peach pink. I don't want to quite say it's magenta. It's a little lighter than magenta, but yeah, it's a nice mixture of, there's lavender on the periphery. Mm-hmm. And
yeah, she has like lavender highlights, I would say.
Yeah.
So it's very, traditional like cedar like hairstyle.
Mm-hmm. And her wood markings are very exaggerated in this release. You can see them all throughout her forehead, her cheeks. They definitely took the extra effort to make her look extra wooden because, of course, she's supposed to be a puppet.
So some of the wood markings are painted. They're not sculpted. I believe she still has the same cedar like sculpt in terms of like the wood portion, but they took the extra effort and like painted on some of those wrinkles and lines that traditional like wood items have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and part of the portion where the wood markings are painted, or you can see where she has some very deep pink blush on her cheeks, and there's painted wood markings beneath the blush.
I like how the blush is in rings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very cute. A lot of love and care went into this. I really like it. She, nothing too crazy in terms of makeup, at least along the lines of eyeshadow and blush. She's wearing a little bit of purple eyeshadow with almost kind of, it's still the same kind of brown mocha color of her skin, but it's more of a the top layer of eyeshadow, it's almost kind of like a whitish brown. And she has very long eyelashes, and of course she has, you know, because per the Pinocchio fairy tale, she has her extended nose. What have you been lying about, Cedar? What I really appreciate about this release is kind of a finer detail you don't notice until you see her up close. She has really nice lips. So there's actually kind of like a glittery metallic sheen to her lips, and then at the very center you have that red lipstick.
Yeah, that heart that, you know, her and Cupid generally have.
And she has, as we mentioned in the intro, she has her little donkey ears, which are very adorable. The insides are white. They are all
One
plastic.
color.
Yeah, it's all plastic. The outside is...
It's a separate piece, isn't it?
Can you remove it though? Because we talked about you can't remove it because it's like a...
Yeah, it's on there.
Yeah, so it is attached to her. It's a separate bit of plastic, but it is attached to her. Regardless though, it's, yeah, if you're familiar with Pinocchio, it's a very, very nice touch. And I like how it looks from pretty much all angles.
So, so I mean, I just wanted to say that her mouth is sculpted plastic, so it does not close or open. It's set in place like that.
Yeah, so you cannot, I mean,
it's still,
tiny bit, little bit,
I mean,
but it's you're
you know,
more just
plastic
smushing
and
the,
vinyl,
yeah.
so it's you can move it kind of, but it does not hold in position at the closed look.
I was gonna say I'm a little disappointed that there's only one color for the ears. I only see that it's white plastic or gray plastic.
It's gray and then
Yeah,
the
you were
insides
hoping
are
it would
white,
be like
yeah.
more textured.
Well, yeah, more textured, more painting,
Shading.
details.
Yeah, I could see that.
I mean, it's cute, but they do just look like pieces of plastic. Like, no part of me feels like it's textured to look like fur and
That's
whatnot.
true.
So
I think it'd be fun if you are daring to paint it, like get one of those, just like paint it with glue and then put some of those,
oh yeah.
what are they called?
Flock?
Flock, yeah. It'd be fun to flock her ears.
Oh,
Yeah.
flocked ears would have been adorable. Yeah.
Yeah.
We can do it.
So, there's a lot to talk about with this outfit. It's a very, very detailed outfit.
Honestly, I almost feel like this is probably the most detailed outfit ever has done so
yeah.
far. There's so many layers of fabrics, yeah, and it's
Little
so very
details.
vibrant and colorful. So yeah, let's start with her top.
So it's a short sleeve turtleneck with that cute see-through fabric, and on top of that is a very elaborate little ballerina number of pink geometric designs.
So many layers.
There's like, okay, there's 1, 2, 3.
I feel like the tool is double layered. There's
Yeah.
two, yeah.
So the pink geometric followed by a shiny shimmery gold, and then tulle black layer with golden sparkle, and then a couple just plain black tulle layers. Overall, it gives a very impression of very elaborate and fluffy.
Extremely.
Something that really adds to the elaborate look, of course, is the middle piece suspender and waistband combo, which is probably my least favorite part of this whole doll, but it does bring it kind of together, or else it would just be like a bunch of pink.
Actually, that is one of my favorite parts. I love suspenders.
The top beneath the gold suspenders, it's floral as well. There's, like a pink roses on the black. I'm all about heavy detail on dolls, so I really appreciate this level of detail. I think it's amazing. The belt, which has, it's very cool and interesting in theory that it kind of like has some artwork of the Ever After High girls.
I love her puffy sleeves.
The puffed purple sleeves are gorgeous.
I don't know if it's just the lighting we have, but they almost like give off a blue shimmer in some angles.
Yeah, they're a really interesting color.
That's some high-end fabric. I'm sorry.
It is.
So it's very nice.
We held up the
nice,
poof
the
very
touch,
well.
too,
We
yeah.
didn't adjust it to be that way.
And she also has some nice little peachy salmon pink cufflinks, like wristbands that tie up close to her elbow, which leads into, I don't know what the puppeteer terminology is for this, but
yeah, I don't remember what it's called.
Yeah.
Handle.
But yeah, you know, it's, as we mentioned, you know, before, it's, you can use them to actually move her arms. And it's actually, what's really amazing about this is it's literally structured like the classic traditional puppeteering, where there's a completely separate wooden piece that moves her legs and one that moves her arms. So it's actually, it's not, you know, something you can do really simply. It's something you kind of have to learn how to do. I know there's a technique to it, like traditional puppeteering.
We didn't see it because it might have been missing when we unboxed it, but Sang says that the box comes with a how-to manual. Oh, here it is. How to use the Marionette. Oh.
Yeah, we'll probably do a picture of that, but yeah. So it actually comes with instructions
on how to take her out of the box, use her with the handle. So it's pretty nice.
Oh, it is called a handle.
Yeah.
Just like the handle, yeah. Yeah, so they attach, the strings attach at her two wrists, at the just above her right and left knee.
Yeah, and there's one on her head as well.
But just so you know, you can move her head completely normally, like a regular ever after high doll, like up, down, left, right.
She has very wobbly limbs, so she's very like freak du chic honey. So
I guess that's something to consider, whether or not you want to unpackage this doll, because you're not going to be able to just pose them on a shelf the way you would usually, but very pretty if you get, you can somehow rig the handles.
You can hang her, and like, yeah.
And then there's, I like I'm sorry, I'm kind of dumb with words right now, but I like the way that these golden floral patterns sit on the belt. I think that's very pretty. It's just a shame because when you look at the handle and the shoes, which you'll see later, they have a very pretty black, I don't know how you'd call that, the way it's painted. It's like a
indentation, like, or finish kind of
thing. It's like a shimmer black that they added to it. But the gold on this piece, and her hat, but it's not less noticeable there, but on this piece it's just plain gold with no extra color. So like that's kind of a lost opportunity because I just think it doesn't go very well with the rest of her outfit, or less well with the rest of her outfit. And I really do not like the art they put in between. I know it's kind of hard to see.
It's her, yeah.
It's her signature promo picture mirrored on both sides of her waist. They couldn't do like two separate images, and it's like a really boring picture. It looks like some kind of storybook thing you'd get from McDonald's. Like, I'm just disappointed in the quality. It could have been something like, I don't know, anything else to do with the Pinocchio fairy tale.
I think like a design of some kind would have been better, yeah.
So, I don't know.
I mean, unless you're staring right at, you are not, it's really difficult to tell what's going on in the artwork. It's
like cedar in the middle of a wave. It must be the ocean bit. I'm confused, but...
Yeah, that, I agree, that portion's a little bit wonky. They could have done something different there. To be honest, that's maybe the only portion of the outfit that I kind of take issue with. But
yeah, and since it's the only bit, and she still looks fabulous, like, I'm not that upset, but at the same time, it's like the part they tried to make the most ornate. It's like, so why didn't you try harder? But whatever. Oh my god, shoes.
They're so pretty. So these are Cedar's shoes. She is wearing a lavender-ish pink colored netted socks with peach pink tied ribbons at the top of each sock on either end. I think that aspect of it is very similar to Signature Cedar. And as we travel down these lovely shoes, there's a floral design down the front that opens on the side, wraps around each end, and then you have The centerpiece is definitely the heels of these shoes. They actually have a separate design on each end. On the outer end of each shoe, we have an adorable little cuckoo clock that is so detailed and lovingly designed. There's, there's the hands of the clock and the numbers, and a little, I honestly want to say it's like a grayish, like cobalt blue, like, robin.
Oh, cuckoo bird.
Cuckoo, yeah. And the roof of the cuckoo clock is, Cedars classic peachy salmon pink. And there's a continued floral design down the bottom of the clock. And on the inner ends of the shoes, you have the little EA Ever After High design in place of the cuckoo clock.
So here's a comparison of Cedar Wood, her signature basic look, and the new Comic-Con Cedar Wood.
Hashtag, is it even the same character? They look very different.
So different.
Yeah, as you can see, there's a massive difference in the size of the eyes. Honestly, I don't think their intention was to make the face mold really similar to original Cedar. I think they were going for an approach of making her look a lot more like a traditional puppet. You can take what you will of assuming that, they incorporated aspects of the reboot faces into, this Cedar, but I think in this case, the bigger eyes and that kind of thing, it feels appropriate for the theme.
Yeah, Comic-Con exclusive Cedars, her face is very animated.
Yeah.
There's her expression to like how thick and wide her eyes are and eyebrows. They're very exaggerated. They're definitely going for like a whole different look.
It's hard to make comparisons to this face under the, running with the assumption that this is going to be anything like, Cedar's reboot face. I imagine this is not what her new face is going to look anything like for the regular new Cedar dolls, but I hope new Cedar.
We're not even sure if Cedar's getting a new face. So.
Yeah.
This again, Ever After High is not going through a reboot. There's just some new faces for like the main 4 or 5. So
yeah, but I'm down with this really different face because it's very fitting for the theme.
Yeah, it's hard to make comparison. We just want to show you how drastic of a different look Comic-Con Cedar has. It's not really a comparison. Both of them are equally just equally distinct and lovable. I mean, there's really no reason to compare them beyond that. Yeah. So I love them both.
Definitely. I think, generally speaking, Cedar is just such a beautiful character overall. She has like this really pretty color scheme and face and hair and everything. So I think because she's such like a beautiful character with, the cool kind of almost somewhat elegant Pinocchio themed accessories and clothing, it's I think it's cool they showed with the more animated, playful side of Pinocchio with this, puppet version.
Welcome back!
Okay, so these are our final thoughts on San Diego Comic-Con exclusive Cedar Wood.
Yeah. Is she worth your money, even if you buy a third party?
Yep. Definitely.
Yes, absolutely. She's gorgeous. I really like her, and the only other Comic-Con exclusive that I own is Cerise. I decided to skip Raven. If you're an Ever After High fan, I would file this Cedar as kind of a must-have. If it's possible for you to get her, we've been talking about what we consider as like reasonable reseller prices. I would say, especially if you can find her for like 50-ish or under, definitely just get her. I was telling them that the fact that she was priced at the con for $30, it's like paying $30 for this. That's a really good deal. Like it's a super detailed display box.
If you want it, like in perspective, the re-release Raven, San Diego Raven, is retail price $30, and I think she's a lot lackluster than Cedar is. So there's that. And I think originally Cerise was $40.
Cerise was 40.
Yeah,
at
Cerise,
least,
yeah.
Mhm.
So she is actually really cheap. I mean, just makes you wonder what an extra $5 would have afforded. Yeah, you know, like, because some of the deluxe dolls that they have, like Legacy Day and all of them, you know, they're $25 retail, and they're pretty detailed, but just extra $5 are like.
I don't know. Maybe they lose money on these dolls.
They might. Maybe Mattel secretly sells a bunch of them at, you know, ridiculous amount of money.
It would be interesting. Is I imagine selling dolls at a loss would be tough though, because you don't have like the follow up. Yeah, but overall, I mean, I think she's beautiful. She's super detailed. You know, I love her eyes and her hair and her little accessories. I would say if you're the type kind of like Autumn where you aren't super crazy about like really flashy, kind of loud outfits and aesthetics, you might find her a little bit tacky because there are bits and pieces of her that are a little bit kind of loud and over the top. You know, we talked about how the belt. I think it's really cool in theory that they have like some artwork of some of the After High girls on the belt, but like Autumn brought up a really good point that it would have been a lot nicer to have seen like just a cool thematic design on that belt instead of just like a screenshot of like, you know, art.
Yeah, it's not really my kind of doll to begin with. I think she has a lot of great personality. It would have been nice if the price was $5 or $10 more and they could have added even more detail, but you know, in a perfect world, whatever. Yeah, kind of Perfect Storm, Ever After High, and really thematic dolls are not my main squeezes, but I think she's very beautiful and definitely worth your time and monies. So get her as soon as you can.
Yeah, I mean, I think she's worth it regardless of the price.
Of course you do.
I mean, Cedar's my favorite character. You know, I know a lot of people have issues with her face. I think it's kind of endearing how like Mattel is not keeping with like that Vogue kind of like perfect cutesy face, and they actually did something that's a little bit more daring. I appreciate that she actually has donkey ears. I know Cerise, who is a werewolf or a wolf, does not have those fancy ears.
There's a part of me that wishes they were removable though.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I know Cerise, there are earrings on her, the Comic-Con exclusive, I think. I'm pretty sure.
Yes,
I don't. Yeah. So I mean, they could have done that, but I do like the giant ears. They're pretty. I mean, I think Mattel has succeeded my expectations on details and all that in terms of their face mold. This is, again, you know, it costs them a lot of money to come up with a new face mold. So
That's true.
So I appreciate that, and you know, her clothes are very detailed. You know, there's a lot of layers of fabrics, and I like that she makes a lot of. She has similar motifs to the original Cedar. You know, same kind of outfit. So I appreciate that it's not just like a super different doll. You can tell it is Cedar. So I appreciate that. And I like her hair colors. You know,
So cute.
lavender and like this nice like
Peachy pink.
yeah,
kind of
peachy
deal.
pink, red. And she has socks. You cannot.
That's like her original.
The luxuries that are only afforded.
And
to
you know what?
Converse.
You know what
This is-
I really appreciate? They actually tied bow ties to her ribbons. The original like Cedar, there's just strings that are hanging. You have to tie them yourself. So I appreciate that. So yeah, I mean, I think overall, I think we all can agree that she is a doll you should, if you want to buy and purchase and have in your collection. She looks great on your shelf.
Yes, she is fantastic, adorable,
Yeah.
and it totally gets me how much. I think what I especially love about this one is how much they made her like an actual puppet. Like the fact that they gave her the strings and that you can move her in that way. And there's like a little booklet of instructions on how
A
to.
lot of care has went into her. That's what I appreciate. A lot of care and detail. Someone actually had to tie strings on all of her arms and legs. So that's really cute.
So those were our final thoughts, and this has been our review on San Diego Comic-Con exclusive Marionette Cedar Wood. Be sure to let us know what you guys think of her in the comments. And, you know, if you missed out on Comic-Con this year, join the club. We did too. We didn't get to go either, but you never know. You know, Mattel is doing a re-release of Comic-Con Raven. Maybe they'll do the same thing for Cedar. It'll give the general public an opportunity to have like a different version of her. But make sure you join us next time. Let us know in the comments what you'd like to see us review next time. And as always, thank you for watching. Be sure to subscribe. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.